Hey, this is Endrick with my 5th audio commentary. I apologize for not putting out an audio in a while. I've been really busy working on my site, scaudios.com. I just added chat functionality and brought on a couple of very talented new commentators, so I've been really busy with that and just haven't had much of a chance to play myself or let alone do any new audio commentaries. But this game today is hopefully going to be a real treat because this strategy is amazing. I have to admit that I took this strategy from Cathan Luck, who's a top Terran player, but I kind of adapted it to my own usage of it, and the strat is pretty awesome. It's very specific as to when and how you can use it, but given the right circumstances, basically a fast expanding Zerg or something like that, it's just almost unstoppable. So what I did here so far was I went 9 refinery, 10 barracks, and I'm at 11 supply right now. I'm actually not going to build a supply depot for a while now, as you'll soon see, but this build order is just pretty nuts. It flows really well as far as the timing of, if you get it right, the timing of how much minerals and Vespene gas you have compared to when you build these buildings is just almost flawless, and you'll see that in a minute. So I just finished my barracks. I'm building 11 supply factory. My Zerg opponent fast expoed. Even if he had gone like fast roaches or something, I still would have had a fighting chance here, because when you block off the front of your base with a barracks and a factory, obviously it's a lot harder for them to break through. I mean, the barracks has 1,000 health and the factory has 1,250 health. So if he attacked it with a few Zerglings, he's simply not going to break through. You can just repair these things with your SCV, and you can try to pump out a Marine a little bit sooner and fight him off. So you would have to change his build orders just slightly if you were going for, if you got rushed. But a lot of times a Zerg just wants to macro. So if you play against Zerg on most maps and you want to try to pull this on him, then you know it's probably going to work, at least until they catch on. Oh, by the way, I went 11 orbital as well and 11 starport. So now I'm finally building my first supply depot, and it's finished, so I can start pumping out more SCVs and a couple of Marines. I built a tech lab on my factory, raised it up a little bit too soon. I realized that a couple Zerglings might run in or something, so I set it back down. Now I'm raising it back up. Starport's going to take its place, and I'm going to put the factory back down to block it off. I'll go ahead and pump a few Marines, but the main thing is to get this first Banshee out extremely quickly. If you see right now, it's already partway through building the first Banshee, and I'm at the time's at 450. I mean, it started building a little bit after 430, you know, like maybe 440 or something. I'm gonna start researching cloak. No, actually I'm not in this particular game. I don't have enough gas. But I'm going for a second supply depot. At this point I'm just in normal macro mode. Once you build that 11 starport, which is called that because you start building it when you're still at 11 supply, once you start building that 11 starport, then you just basically switch over to normal macro mode, like what you would do usually. You can pump Marines or whatever. So here comes my first Banshee. We're only 440 something into the game. It's going to reach his base at slightly after 6 minutes. The Zergling was on the way. There wasn't really much I could do to avoid him seeing my Banshee on the way, because I want to attack as soon as possible, and I didn't want to fly the long way around that Xel'Naga tower. So the second that this Zerg actually played this extremely well. The second that he saw that I passed over the middle with my Banshee, he started building an evolution chamber. So now it's done. It's actually, that evolution chamber is to the point where I saw that I couldn't attack it. I attacked it for a split second and then realized it had too much health already. So at this point I'm just taking out workers. I'm macroing in my base a little bit here, and I should have attacked these spore crawlers just a little bit sooner. If I had done that, this game probably would have ended faster. It's hard to say. They build fairly quickly, so this other one might have gone up still. But I'm killing this spore crawler. I got my second Banshee over here, and he's got one fully built, which is going to help them fend me off here. So I'm continuing to pump Banshees. I'm still macroing. I'm putting up a tech lab, pumping out some Marines, getting my SCVs going, dual gas now, putting up a second starport. So you can see I'm just in full macro mode here while I continue to fly around and harass this base and kill what I can. He didn't cancel that spore crawler, so that's good for me. I send my other Banshee over to check out. At this point I haven't even scouted this expansion due to the way I was playing, and I get shot down there. Oh, I forgot to mention earlier that a Banshee versus a Queen, the Banshee will kill the Queen 1v1, so I actually came over here with my very first Banshee and killed the Queen that he had sitting in this base. That's why that other Banshee was red, so I apologize for not showing that part of the action earlier, but I strongly suggest that any of these audios that you watch at scaudios.com that you also download the replay from the site. So you can come and check it out later, look at the details of the build orders or whatever action you missed. So he's got a couple of spore crawlers up at this point, which makes it harder for me to harass, but I basically shut down his main over here. And I'm multitasking with my Banshee, so that's why I was a little bit slow to micro there. He's effectively kind of stopped my Banshee harass. At least I didn't finish the fight. A lot of times, if the players don't respond as quickly as this particular player did, they'll finish the game right when you get your, you'll pretty much finish the game with your first Banshee or two, because you can just basically stop any defense that they're starting to, as they start to mount it. But I guess I stopped here to do a little bit of macro. My macro in this game was kind of slow because I expected to either get rushed and not be able to fight it off properly, because this was literally my very first time trying this strategy, other than in customs. I worked on the build order in customs a little bit after watching Cathan's game, but this is the first live game that I tried this in. So I figured I would either get rushed and screw up my defense of the rush somehow, or he would just leave when I got the first Banshee over there at like 5 minutes and something into the game. But it actually ended up going to a longer game, so I was sitting here in my base going, okay, what do I build? Okay, I'm going to build a starport with a reactor and pump some medevacs, I guess, to support my Marines, and I'll build some tanks. I was just kind of dinking some units together without any clear idea of what I was doing. So this strategy can obviously be refined a lot more than I've done so here, as far as the macro that comes after the early Banshee harassment. But it's at least instructional to show you guys how to get this strategy working. These Banshees, you can see I have 3 of them that were almost dead that I sent back to my base, and now I'm going to repair all 3 of them so that I can go back and harass some more. Microing expensive units like Banshees is very important. You don't want to just sit there and let them basically harass until they die if you can help it. You want to send them back, get them repaired, because they cost so much, especially on the gas side of things. They cost enough that it's worth it to pull them back and have your SCVs come repair them. So that group of SCVs repaired them, and now I'm sending them over to my expo. I've got a pretty good force here: Marines, tanks, Banshees. I think I'm going to add some, I'm adding some medevacs. So I'm pretty much unclear as to what I'm going to do at this point. I know I have probably the advantage on him, although I don't have that big of an advantage. Even though it looked like I jacked him up quite a bit in his main, which I did, he had his expansion running pretty much the entire time, and you got to remember that the first several minutes of the game, I had 7 workers on minerals. So I really fell behind on the economy side. This is kind of a gamble, I was running with 7 workers on minerals, 3 on gas, and 1 worker running around building shit. So